So, Miss Kinlaw, how are you feeling right about now? About one centimeters dilated,
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so I gonna let them
couple
bitches do.
contractions, damn near threw up on yourself, almost passed out. So far, so good. My birthday, by the way. It is approximately. What time is it?
Alright, y'all. Thank y'all for coming back and chilling with me. Okay, so this is part two, and now we are on to the move. So we left off with court and the fallout. Now we are at is after the fallout. I came back from my trip. You know, they tried to like play games with the whole pickup situation after I came back, but it was what it was. And I ended up getting her back, but daycare was out because of COVID. So they had closed, and then I was working for the schools at the time doing front desk, and that got closed down. So I'm like, all right, bet. So me and Jaden just chilling at home, and it has been so long at this point. We just started creating like our own little at-home routine. I started to panic for a minute. And I took this little job that was like far out, like kind of in Laurel. And I worked there for a minute because I needed the money. And my mom had watched Jaden for me. But I ended up quitting that job because one day I was coming home from work and my transmission went up. And I really did not have the patience to deal with it because it was just like one thing after another, and at this point I'm over it. So all right, cool. We sitting at home, and bill time came and approaching. I applied for what is it? Damn, what is it? I applied for unemployment. All right, so I applied for unemployment, and one of my good friends helped me get in there, and they finally approved me, and it's like, it was instant, y'all. I woke up to like, ooh, dang, I was pumped. So I paid off the bills, because I was like definitely backed up, and we was on thin ice, okay? So I paid off the bills, and then I started like buying the stuff that I wanted to do for the business, which is this. So I bought like the Cricut machine, hot press, and I started to buy stuff to set Jaden up for her lip gloss line because she always wanted to make stuff. So it was this slime with lip gloss, and I felt like I was over slime, so let's do lip gloss now. So yeah, so I started setting her up for lip gloss, and the next month came, and it started to be like bigger. What was it bickering about? I don't even remember. No, it was time for, I needed to pack up the house. So I'm packing up the house, and after a while, like Jaden was like, I didn't want her to be like unboxing stuff that I was boxing up. So I sent her with her dad for a minute, and then like he felt some type of way and ended up like trying to make like a back and forth. So at that point I just stopped responding. I'm not dealing with it anymore. Like, so that's how she got with him in June. And she was there for like a couple weeks while I was boxing up the house trying to sell the stuff. I was getting stuff done pretty quickly. Then I went to my homegirl house, and I ended up getting Jaden for an overnight then. She came, she chilled with us for a minute. We had a ball linking with them or whatever. She played with the kids. Like, she was terrified of her dog, but she like wanted to play with the dog. She the thrill of being scared, which is weird. But it's cute. So she did that, and I had a court date on June the 18th. That was after I took her back. I think, after I took her back to our father or whatever. I came back out to my homegirl house because I still needed like to clear my mind. It was a lot going on. I'm still trying to find a place and all of this stuff. So I had a court date on June the 18th, and it went so bad, y'all. Like, this lady was knocking me down at every angle. Like, every question she asked me, whatever my answer was, I don't feel like it was ever good enough. Now, my baby father has like connects. It's like somebody in his family, everybody worked for somebody. Like it's always a loophole somewhere. They all know somebody. So I'm like, at this point, I had like waved my arms up because it's like, it's no point in me saying nothing because your mind is already made up going into this. And I was over it. Like I legit felt like I was defeated and I'm backed up against the wall. Now, yeah, so that's when I really made my mind up. Like I wasn't gonna get her back. Like I'm just going to get settled. Like I gotta get settled because there's no point in me fighting this fight and I still don't have my apartment. I still don't have none of this stuff to take her to. So it's really no point in me uprooting her life for no stability. I just know that I don't want to be here no more. Cool. And shit started getting a little crazy and I kind of felt bad. So I took the older sister with me. And from there I was going to Georgia just to kind of scope out the place. Now, I had apartments already listed that I wanted to go to, so areas that I wanted to specifically look in already. But we never like had this conversation. So we going down, and she introduced me to two of her homegirls. We ended up clashing like twice because I don't think the same way people think. So it's like she felt like her way of thinking was better than my thinking, and then I'm trying to express my way of thinking, and we just kept clashing. So we overall did have a good trip though. So we was able to talk it out, which was a good thing. But we came back, I dropped her off, I stayed there at her house for a couple more days. Now I took the other sister with me because I'm going back in the city because I need to finish packing up the apartment so that we can leave, or so I can leave. And in the midst of her packing up, helping me pack up, she ended up getting into it with her peoples, and that kind of went left. So she ended up stuck with me, and we ended up just riding out. So now we in Georgia, and we are in a hotel. We stayed at the Clarion Hotel, and I ended up getting a job that was probably like 20 minutes away from there. But I had my truck, so I was good. But my truck needed work after a while, and I needed to get a wheel bearing, and I was waiting for the part. I found a mechanic that was close by. I just needed him to put it on, so he charged me a good rate. It wasn't too bad to do the wheel bearing and fix like my tail light. So we did that, and then me and her ended up clashing about kind of the weight that was being carried. So we kind of went our separate ways. It left me in a bind. So I ended up, I got a ride home from a coworker who was a guy. Now he insisted on giving me a ride because I was catching a lift. But I was catching a lift because I didn't trust driving my car. If anybody know me, y'all know I don't play with my car. Like, I don't trust driving it when nothing is wrong. Not at all. So, he gave me the ride home, and on the way back, I was like kind of telling him what happened, and because I was frustrated, not really because I wanted pity, I was just venting because I was so irritated and it was fresh. So, I was frustrated. When he dropped me off, he ended up giving me $100. And that $100 just so happened to be everything that I needed or what I needed to cover my next week's stay. So I paid that and kind of kicked my feet up a little bit and relaxed. Now my car is fixed. I'm good. I ended up meeting a guy up here who was a Virgo, and it was weird because me and guy Virgos do not get along. If you know me, you know this as well. I'm very adamant on that. I don't know. But but yeah, he was like real cool, and it's like he was like reading my soul, y'all. Like, so we talking, we linking, we venting, like we just rapping for real. Like nothing romantic, ill, but not ill to him, but just ill to the thought of dating at the time. It was a rough point in my life. Ill, not dating a wife in the house. That's weird. But I ended up doing that. That's crazy. Okay, but back on track. So yeah, we coolin'. He introduced me to his girlfriend. We all rapping or whatever, catching up, and it was like kind of like having family for real. Like he one of the bros. That's sis. And yeah, they was kind of giving me the rap on what's going on around. We looking for places, like riding around. Then from there, I ended up getting in touch with one of the mutual friends that the older sister had put me D with, and I was renting a room from her. Eventually, around October, I moved in with her like around September. And October, we ended up falling out because I offered to watch her son, but I felt like she kind of took advantage. And when I addressed it, it kind of went left. And she was like, "Oh, you can go." And I left. Now, my friend did talk me off a ledge. Thank you, friend. You was in here twice now, girl. So yeah, my friend talked me off a ledge because, y'all, my mind, I was working. It was going somewhere. I was heated about this. But I ended up talking. I was already going back home or to Maryland because of the older sister was having a birthday party. So it was like, whatever. I just took all my shit with me anyway. So I ended up driving instead of flying like I had initially planned to. So I'm on my way back, and in the midst of me coming back, me and the sister ended up falling out. So now I'm uninvited to the birthday party that I was driving back to Maryland for. So my homegirl ended up calling me randomly, and she was just like, "Girl, what you doing?" And I was like telling her that I was in Georgia. She was like, "Come," and I was on my way back, and she was like, "Come see me, come see me." So I went and saw her, and we kind of got to talking. Well, we were talking about what happened on the way there. And I ended up staying with her I came back home, so now I'm back in Baltimore. And I stayed with her for like a month, I think. But I stayed there because that's what we agreed to. I didn't want to put no strains on the friendship. Like, I really have them, so I want to keep this one. It's the longest one. She hanging in there, y'all, so I wanted to keep her around. So I just like kind of moved back in with my mom against my wishes. I moved back in with her, and I kind of reconnected with my older cousin, and she was catching me up on everything that was going on while I was gone. A lot happened that I had no clue about, and yeah, so we was like catching up on that. And then in the midst of me staying with my mom, and I was staying between there and with my brother because he lived like right around the corner, and I could smoke in his house. So yeah, I spent a lot of time at his house, and nights I was spending at my mom's, and then it ended up being like I spent a majority of my time at his house, because my little brother had ended up going there, and it was the three of us, so we was just cooling. I had court in February, and they ended up ruling in his favor because he had her enrolled in daycare already. And I hadn't contributed to daycare this go around, so they ruled for him. So I lost. And funny thing is, I really didn't go through like a depression phase for that because I already expected it. I was already losing. And only thing I prayed for was that, she didn't see it in no type of way. And every time I felt like she would, it was like, she would give me some little sign that we were still here, Love my baby. But, yeah, so after court, at this point I'm just working and trying to save as much money as I can, but I'm having problems with my car, and it was just like one thing after another, and I'm still trying to like keep up with everything. And still trying to, I have, it's already in me to contribute wherever I am. So I'm still spending. And that's just, I'm sorry. If it was meant for me to be, it's going to be. And it was, and I'm here. So, it took me a while to save what I needed to save. I was applying to places. And it's expensive to apply for apartments here. Because it's like, you got to pay an admin fee and an application fee. And I'm paying like $200 to $300 admins, $100 admins, $175. And then another $75, $100, $50 for the application. So I'm spending like $250 on applications, $300 on applications here and there. And most of them are denying me because I had like baby credit and I didn't even know that. So yeah, it was taking me so much longer. It was like I was getting knocked down every way, and I'm just like, okay, well, if I stay here, then I can definitely get a place quicker than what it's taking me right now. And though that was the fact, I didn't belong here. Everything about being back home was just irritate me. First of all, I'm too close to my child to not have my child. And if I get her back, I'm going right back into that same pattern that we just left. And that would defeat the purpose of me doing any of this. Like, so now to me, it's like it was too late to turn back now. What you gonna do? I kept building, I kept saving, I kept moving. Like, I stayed in like 6 different places in the midst of me trying to get to Georgia. I stayed from my mom. I probably stayed there until like January. And by February, I had completely moved into Tyree House, which is my brother. And from there up until about April, I had met somebody, and I like him. And I didn't want to be away from him, and he didn't want me away from him. So I was staying with him, and when he went to work, if I was off for work, I would be at my cousin's house, my little cousin. So that's pretty much how my days went up until October, when I came and got my permit. I came and got my keys, and I stayed working there in Maryland for like another couple weeks. So it was late October that I ended up actually moving in. I came up and got my keys and went back home and packed my stuff up and came up here with my car. My little cousin rode up with me. It was like a struggle. I couldn't find a job for like 2 weeks. 2-3 weeks maybe. It was horrible, y'all. I hate not working. But yeah, from there, I found a job. I started working, and I've been building ever since. Thank y'all for tuning in. That's pretty much it. That's not the whole story, because I'm gonna tell y'all later on, kind of like the build up and like the in betweens, and kind of where I piled too much on my plate and I had to break down. But for now, I just wanted y'all to kind of see how I got to where I'm at and the journey that I was taking to get here. So now y'all seen it. I want to know how y'all feel. And I decided that I'm going to go natural. Or I've been natural for a while now, but wear my actual natural hair. And if you know, I did just cut my hair like a year and a half ago. Or 2 years ago now. I don't know. But it's not. It's not the cutest slave bush, but I figured that was the next step in my journey, because my hair is another like insecurity point. So in order to kind of weed out all of my insecurity points, it's kind of like do the shit. Yeah. It's nerve-wracking. But yay, change, good change. I don't know. And I decided that I'm going to go natural. Or I've been natural for a while now, but wear my actual natural hair. And if you know, I did just cut my hair like a year and a half ago. Or 2 years ago now. I don't know. But it's not. It's not the cutest slave bush, but I figured that was the next step in my journey, because my hair is another like insecurity point. So in order to kind of weed out all of my insecurity points, it's kind of like do the shit. Yeah. It's nerve-wracking. But yay, change, good change. I don't know. My lease started on October the 1st. But I wanted to try to pan out my money situation a little bit better than it was. So I stayed for a couple extra weeks. So I just came up here officially last week. And today is November the 1st. And I only have half the rent money. And I didn't start working yet. So I'm trying not to panic. The weed grade here sucks, or I don't know if I'm like super stressed. But I've not been able to quiet my mind or like focus really on like one thing. But I am trying to remain positive and carry my mustard seed, you know? So this is my first week in my new house and in another state. I have been doing this for probably about a week. My job didn't pan through the way that I planned on it to. And my company for this kid's gone. So I'm about to shoot it alone. Yeah.